Hello everyone, my name is Mary Ann and I'm the Community Coordinator for the CREATE District 6 project here in Sacramento, California. CREATE District 6 project is a collaborative project between the residents and artists in District 6 in Sacramento, California State University College of Arts and Letters, and the City of Sacramento Creative Economy. This is our second CREATE on the Go, and I appreciate you joining me. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make fun, easy, and inexpensive dolls out of corn husks called Hojas dolls. So first let's go over the supplies that you'll need. You're going to need obviously some corn husks. You can buy corn husks at pretty much any grocery store or specialty market because they're used also to make tamales, so they're pretty easy to find. You want to soak them in water for about a half hour, 20 minutes, or a half hour. And the reason for doing that is because then it makes them nice and pliable and easy to mold. The other thing that you'll need is some glue. Sometimes I use my glue gun, but for this demonstration I'm just going to be using plain white glue because the glue gun dries faster, but it's a little more dangerous. Seems like every time I use my glue gun I burn myself. A pair of scissors, and we're going to be making hair on our dolls, so you want to either use yarn or twine, whatever you have around the house that might work for hair. Now sometimes you can use, if you're using corn husks that you've dried yourself from corn that you've purchased at the grocery store or grown in your yard, you could use the silk. You could dry the silk, save it and dry it, and use it for hair, and that's a lot of fun too. Also, I have two fine point felt pins, and I'm going to use these to make the face. Now traditionally Hojas dolls do not have faces. They're usually like this, but I'm just going to demonstrate how to put a face on yours, and that gives it a lot of personality and is fun to do. So I have a pink one and a black one. Okay, so let's get started. So the first thing we're going to make is we're going to mold the doll's face, this part right here, and the chest part right here. So you want to find about a medium size corn husk that's been soaking for a little while in the water. And notice I've put towels down, and I do that because there's lots of drips and water all over. Helps catch some of the water and keeps my surface that I'm working on drier. So these are kind of split, so try to find one that's not too split. This one's a good one, and it's a good size. Okay, so we'll use this one, and you want to tear a little strip. Now notice when I tear these, they tear really easy if you tear again towards the grain. They don't tear this way easy, but they tear this way easy. And I'm going to take about a 1-inch strip and I'm going to roll it kind of tight in a roll. And then I'm going to take this and I'm just going to fold it over. And I'm going to fold it until it's approximately about 1 inch to 1.5 inches wide. And then I like to give her face, the doll's face, a little more bulk. So I put this about in the middle, this piece that I just rolled, and I fold this piece in half with that in the middle. Okay? So it looks kind of like this. Now I want to start shaping the neck. And so I just crimp this about in the middle, and I take another small strip that I've torn. Probably this one is about 1 inch wide. And I'm going to just wrap it around, and then on the other side I just tie a really strong knot. You want to knot it pretty good because as the corn husks dry, they will shrink. So don't worry about making the knot too tight. And these corn husks are pretty strong, so you can make it pretty tight. but you end up with something that looks like this. So you've made the head, the neck, and this will be the kind of the chest of the doll. Now the other fun part about this little tie is it looks kind of like a little necktie or a neck scarf. So I'm just going to cut off the ends and I'm going to leave it on there. I don't want it quite this long, but I'm going to leave some ends so it resembles a neck cloth that my doll has around her neck. Okay, so there you are. All right, so now we're going to make the arms. You notice on this one, these arms here. This is one I made earlier today. So in order to do that, we need another strip. So just take another corn husk and just tear it down the middle like that until you have a strip that's about 1 inch wide. Now I'm giving you approximate measurements here because we don't have to be exact with this project. We're not cutting quilt squares and we're not building a bridge. So all the measurements are approximate, and each doll you make is going to be different and unique. That's what's fun about this project. They're all going to have their own personality. So I've rolled it up pretty tightly, and I'm just going to, remember you folded this in half. So just lift up the half and lay this long skinny one that you just rolled kind of right underneath there like that. Now at this point you need to decide which part of the doll is going to be the face and which part is going to be the back of the head. And I've put the tie in the back. So this is going to be the back of the doll's head and this is going to be the face. This side is what I've decided. Okay, so the next thing we're going to make are the shoulders. These pieces, these two pieces right here. Now the fun part about this is not only do they serve as shoulders and help to hold the arms in place, but it also looks like my doll is wearing a cute little shawl. So take another corn husk and we want to tear it in about 1 inch strips, so about that wide. And we want 2 of them. So they look like this, 2 strips, and we just lay them. The wide part of the strip is going to be laying across the shoulders and the arm in the front, and then the narrow part is we're going to fold over to the back. You want to leave that little knot showing like that. And then take the other one and do the same thing. So you've got them kind of crisscrossed in the middle of the doll's chest. You know, the more you make these and practice with this material, just like anything else in life, the better you'll get. And the more you'll like the result. So it takes a little manipulating and it takes a little practice. But that's okay. So you have it crisscrossed in front, and if you flip it over, it's also crisscrossed in the back. Now we're going to tie this on. So you need another strip, a small skinny one, about 1/2 inch thick and about 8 inches, 6 to 8 inches long. The longer the better. And just below the arms, wrap it around and tie another knot. So the fun part about this is I like how much natural material you use to make these. And a lot of times, like in my case, I make tamales pretty much every year. So I always have corn husks in the house. I always have scissors. I always have glue. I usually have something I can make the hair out of, even if I don't have yarn. I can have twine or something that I can. So I guess my point is to telling you this is that I don't want you to feel like you have to go out and buy a bunch of expensive supplies or a kit to make this. You can think about what you've got at home that you can use. So as you can see, I've tied it in the back and I made a nice tight knot. And this is how it looks in the front. And I'm just gonna snip off these long ends, okay, so they're not sticking out so much. Okay, so there you've created a cute little, the doll's shoulders, and it looks like a little shawl. And this is the front. Okay, now comes the fun part. We're going to make the doll's skirt. Okay, this part right here. Now I want to show you something that's kind of fun to do and gives it a little more character. Notice how this, I found one of the Hojas that was a little crinkly. So I used that for the front of the skirt. Sometimes when you open a bag of Hojas, there's also some that might be a little off color. They might not be gold. Like if you look at this one, there's a little orange tint to it. So I used that one for her skirt. But see how it dries? It just kind of flows out and really resembles a skirt. So try to see if you can find one in your bowl of water that is a little crinkly or has a little more character. Like this one, look how that one is. And it's okay if it's split a little bit, because we can just trim that off if we choose to. Remember, this is your doll, so you can make it however you want. Okay, so you want two. I found another one for the front of her skirt and one for the back of the doll skirt. Okay, all right. So let's make the back first. What you want to do is fold this pointed in. Now, as you know, Hojas come in, they're kind of a triangle. So take the tip of the triangle and just fold it over about 2 inches, or however long you need to. You can kind of determine how long you want her skirt to be. And put the body of the doll on top of it. I want to leave the shoulders showing, obviously. Take your other one, fold it over the length that you want, and put that on the top. So this one is on the bottom, makes her skirt like this. Now you could leave it like this. See how that's a long skinny skirt. But I like to make it a little bulkier, so I put one on top. And you can put as many as you want. This is your doll, so you can make it however you want. Some people put a lot of layers because they like the skirt to look really full. So you can just keep adding layers and adding layers. So that's how it looks at this point. Okay, so now I want to make her waistband. Which is this right here. And this is what's going to hold the skirt on and define the waist of the doll. Really quickly, I want to show you something else you can do once you get the skirt tied on, is if you want to make your doll having pants on, look like it's wearing pants, I'm sorry, you can just split this up the middle and tie off the ends to look like feet, and your doll will be wearing pants. Something kind of fun and different to do. All right, so to make the waistband, you want a longer corn husk, one that's fairly pliable, and one that because we're gonna wrap it around her waist, and then we're going to tie it on the back, so it creates a cute little bow on the back. It's gonna look like this. Okay, so split this corn husk. Find one that you can split and will leave you about 3 inches, or 2 inches, I'm sorry. 2 inches, and then split it, because what we're going to do is we're going to fold it in half. So you end up with about 1 to 1.5 inches. And then just position this at the doll's waist. So like that. So it just lays like that. And then flip it over. On the back, we're going to tie the skirt on. The more you work with this, like I said, the earlier, the easier it will get. So it takes a little practice, but once you get it, they're a lot of fun. And they're fun to give away. I've given away lots and lots of them to friends and different events and whatnot that I go to. You know, dolls have an old ancient tradition in most cultures, not only in the Mexican culture, but throughout the world. And they weren't always toys. A lot of times they had other symbolic meaning. And in some Mexican or Latino cultures, they're used as part of the quinceañera ceremony. A girl has a quinceañera to celebrate her passage from childhood into adulthood, and she might give away a small plastic doll that symbolizes that transition. So dolls have a lot of symbolic meaning also. So I just tied a knot, as you can see, and I'm just going to cut this long end off. And I tied that pretty tight. So it looks like that. That's the back. And here's the front. Now you can trim these raggedy ends of the doll's skirt if you want to. And there you've made the skirt. Okay, let's tie the arms off. Now and that's going to make hands, make it look like she has hands. So you just need a couple of really small, tiny strips, probably about 1/4 of an inch. And I'm just going to go to one end of the arm, get it about the length that you want it. You do that by just pulling it through. And tie this end off. Once again, a knot. So this helps shape a hand, what resembles a hand. And it also looks like that your doll is wearing a little arm bracelet. There you go. So do that to the other side. I'm going to make this one a little shorter because the doll's arms are a little lopsided. And there you go. Good job. You've got the body of your doll made now. So I'm going to show you next how to make the hair. You want to let this dry, get good and dry, because we're going to be using the glue. That takes, maybe an hour. It doesn't take very long. There's your doll. Nice work. How you doing? I hope you're happy with the way yours is turning out. So set your doll aside for a while and let it get good and dry. And I have a couple that I made earlier that I let dry. And I'm going to show you how to attach the hair. There's, like I said earlier, there's several materials you can use to make the hair. I'm telling you, if you have enough corn husks and a little imagination, the sky's the limit on what you can do with these dolls. If you Google corn husk dolls or Hojas, Hojas dolls, you will find hundreds of examples. The sky's the limit with imagination, if you have imagination and inexpensive material. Because some people might use fabric on them, some people might paint them, however elaborate. Now I pre-cut some yellow yarn. Sometimes I love making my Hojas dolls with black and gray yarn. This one. I've made them with brown, like this one that I made the updo. So you can use any color you want. If you want blue hair, green hair, whatever. But get it about the length that you want it. figure out what kind of style you want. Sometimes I braid it down the back, which is fun. Today I'm just going to make 2 little ponytails in front. So I want it about that long. And cut your material, whether you're using twine or yarn. And then just cover the top of the head right here with your glue. And a little bit down the back of the head. Okay. And then of course that takes a few minutes to dry. So I just lay it on there and just let it sit for a while. Go do something else or start making another one while this dries. So shape it kind of the way you want it. I'm going to put ponytails in the front here. When I do that, I just use another piece of ribbon or twine, or I like to use different colors. I like to give my doll personality the way I accessorize it. I'm going to cut the ends of these. These are my craft scissors, not my sewing scissors. That's why they're so dull and hard to cut with. And cut these. And I also like making it with a little bit of crazy, so her hair looks a little crazy and like she hasn't combed it for a while. She's been busy doing other things. And then I'm going to tie off the ends and 2 little pigtails on each side. Okay. There you go. And if the face is good and dry at this point after you get her hair done, if you want to, like I said, it's not always traditional, but you can put a little face on her to give her some more character. There is her hair. And you can add some more in the back if you want, so your doll isn't quite so bald in the back. Might have to add a little extra glue as the doll dries. The glue dries. You might notice that if you want the hair to lie and be attached a little better. So I'm going to show you how to draw the face now. Really, really simple. I do a very simple face. I just do pink and black, but you can do any colors you want. And you might want to practice on a little test piece of paper or something, doing lips. And one thing you'll notice when you start to draw on your face with corn husks, it's not a flat surface like paper, so it takes a little bit more to fill it in because you've got all these little ridges. Okay. Little mouth. And then I just do closed eyes because make her have kind of a little coy expression. Or you can do whatever expression you want. Little eyelashes. There you have it. You're done. There's your doll. Well, thank you for joining me again for another Create on the Go. Next time I will be showing you how to do a fun watercolor project using watercolors and a piece of paper. It's called Concentric Circles, so I hope you'll join me again. And in the meantime, thank you on behalf of the entire team at Create District 6. See you next time. Bye-bye.